good morning, and welcome to a brand new beginning. Before you check your phone, before you think about yesterday, and before the world tells you who you need to be today, take this moment for yourself. This moment has the power to shape everything that follows. Every morning is more than the start of another day. It is the beginning of a new state of consciousness. The thoughts you choose, the emotions you embrace, and the beliefs you accept in these first few moments quietly influence the experiences you create throughout the day. Too often, people wake up carrying yesterday's worries into today. They replay old fears, remember past disappointments, and expect more of the same. But today, you are choosing a different path. Today, you are choosing to begin with faith instead of fear, gratitude instead of lack, peace instead of worry, and certainty instead of doubt. As you listen to these affirmations, don't simply repeat the words. Feel them. Allow each statement to become a living truth within you. Imagine that your deepest desires are no longer distant dreams, but present realities. Let your heart experience the joy, confidence, abundance, and peace of the person you are becoming. You don't need to force your future into existence. You don't need to chase every opportunity or struggle to make life happen. Your only responsibility is to align yourself with the reality you wish to experience and remain faithful to that inner state. Take a slow, deep breath, release every fear, let go of every limitation, open your heart to new possibilities. This is your morning, this is your fresh beginning. Everything you truly desire is already finding its way to you. Now, let's begin. Begin the morning by accepting your desire as already fulfilled. The first few moments after you wake up are among the most powerful moments of your entire day. Before the demands of life begin calling for your attention, before conversations fill your mind, and before responsibilities shape your emotions, your consciousness is quiet, open, and highly receptive. What you choose to think and feel during this sacred time quietly becomes the foundation upon which the rest of your day is built. Many people begin their mornings by remembering yesterday's disappointments or worrying about today's challenges. Without realizing it, they carry old emotions into a brand new day and unknowingly recreate the same experiences. But today you are invited to begin differently. Instead of waking up as someone who is waiting for life to improve, awaken as the person whose deepest desire has already been fulfilled. Imagine opening your eyes each morning with the calm certainty that everything you have been hoping for is already unfolding. Instead of asking, will today finally bring my breakthrough? Gently affirm within yourself, my breakthrough has already begun. Instead of wondering whether abundance will ever arrive, quietly accept that abundance is already becoming your reality. This simple shift transforms your relationship with life. You are no longer living from uncertainty. You are living from expectation. You are no longer waiting for permission to feel joyful. You choose joy first, trusting that your experiences will naturally begin reflecting the state you have embraced within. Consider the difference between two travelers preparing for an exciting journey. One constantly worries that something will go wrong. They fear delays, expect disappointment, and imagine obstacles before they even leave home. The other traveler prepares with excitement because they already believe wonderful experiences await them. Though both begin the same journey, their expectations create entirely different experiences. Life often unfolds in a similar way. The emotional atmosphere you carry into the day influences the way you perceive opportunities, respond to challenges, and interact with the people around you. Beginning your morning with the feeling of fulfillment changes the entire direction of your awareness. Many people mistakenly believe they must earn gratitude after receiving what they desire. They tell themselves they will be thankful once success arrives, once finances improve, once relationships become harmonious, or once every problem has disappeared. Yet gratitude possesses its greatest power when it comes before visible evidence. Gratitude is not merely a response to blessings. It is a recognition that blessings are already unfolding, even if they have not yet appeared in physical form. When you wake each morning feeling genuinely thankful for the life that is coming into expression, you train your consciousness to focus on abundance instead of lack. This morning practice is not about pretending that challenges do not exist. It is about choosing which reality deserves your greatest attention. There will always be temporary circumstances asking for your focus. There may be unfinished responsibilities, unexpected obstacles, or unanswered questions. Yet none of these need to determine the emotional tone of your day. You can acknowledge temporary conditions without allowing them to become your permanent identity. Your greatest freedom lies in choosing your inner state, regardless of what is happening around you. One beautiful way to strengthen this morning habit is by spending a few quiet moments imagining how you would feel if your greatest desire had already become reality. Do not focus on the process of getting there. Instead, experience the peace, gratitude, confidence, and joy that naturally belong to the fulfilled version of yourself. Let those emotions become familiar. The more often you visit this inner state, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, you no longer have to force yourself to feel grateful or confident because those qualities have become part of your identity. Your morning affirmations become especially powerful when they are spoken with genuine feeling. Words repeated without emotion often remain only words. But when your heart becomes involved, those same words begin reshaping your consciousness. As you quietly affirm that everything you desire is already finding its way to you, allow yourself to believe it completely. Feel the relief of someone whose worries have already been answered. Feel the excitement of someone whose dreams are becoming reality. Feel the peace of someone who trusts that life is working beautifully behind the scenes. As this practice continues day after day, subtle changes begin appearing within you. You become calmer when unexpected situations arise, because your confidence no longer depends upon perfect circumstances. You notice opportunities that fear once prevented you from seeing. Your conversations become more encouraging because your thoughts are no longer dominated by limitation. You begin expecting good things naturally, and this expectation influences every decision you make throughout the day. What once required great effort gradually becomes your normal way of living. Remember that every visible achievement first exists as an invisible conviction. Before an inventor creates something extraordinary, they first believe in the possibility. Before an artist completes a masterpiece, they first see it within their imagination. Before a magnificent tree rises into the sky, its life quietly begins beneath the soil. In the same way, your future experiences begin with the convictions you nurture each morning. Every peaceful thought, every grateful feeling, and every confident expectation becomes another seed planted within your consciousness. There may still be mornings when doubt tries to return. Old habits may remind you of past disappointments. During those moments, gently return to your chosen state instead of criticizing yourself. Remember that transformation is built through consistency rather than perfection. Every morning you choose hope instead of fear, gratitude instead of complaint, and certainty instead of uncertainty, you strengthen the new identity you are creating. Small daily victories eventually produce extraordinary lifelong results. Never underestimate the creative influence of the way you begin your day. The first thoughts you accept often become the thoughts you carry. The emotions you cultivate in the morning frequently shape your responses throughout the hours that follow. By choosing to begin each day as someone whose desires are already fulfilled, you establish a foundation of peace that external circumstances cannot easily disturb. Instead of chasing happiness, you carry happiness within you. Instead of searching for abundance, you begin recognizing its presence everywhere. So tomorrow morning, before the world captures your attention, pause for a few moments. Breathe deeply. Quiet your mind. Place your attention upon the life you desire, not as a distant dream, but as a present reality already unfolding. Let gratitude fill your heart before evidence appears. Let confidence become stronger than uncertainty. Let peace replace striving. And as you step into the day, carry the quiet assurance that everything you truly desire is already on its way, because you have already accepted it within yourself. Your inner conversations create your outer reality. From the moment you wake up until the moment you fall asleep, there is a conversation taking place within you. It is quiet, almost invisible, yet it never stops. You speak to yourself through thoughts, expectations, memories, and imagined possibilities. These inner conversations shape the way you see the world, influence the emotions you experience, and guide the decisions you make every single day. Most people are unaware of how powerful these conversations truly are. They believe their circumstances create their thoughts, when in reality, their repeated thoughts gradually influence the way they experience their circumstances. If you wish to create a new reality, you must first become aware of the words you continually speak within yourself. Think about how often your mind repeats the same stories. If you have experienced disappointment, your inner voice may quietly remind you that things never work out. If you have faced rejection, it may whisper that people always leave. If you have struggled financially, it may constantly tell you that abundance is difficult to achieve. These inner conversations become so familiar that they begin to feel like facts. Yet they are not permanent truths. They are simply habits of thought that have been repeated, often enough to seem natural. The encouraging news is that any habit of thought can be replaced with a new one. Imagine living in a house where a radio has been playing the same negative station for years. At first, you may hardly notice it because you have become accustomed to hearing it. But the moment you change the station, everything feels different. The environment has not changed, only the message filling the space. Your mind works in much the same way. For years, it may have been tuned to fear, limitation, or self-doubt. Changing your inner conversations is like tuning your consciousness to a completely different frequency, one filled with hope, confidence, gratitude, and expectation. Every morning gives you an opportunity to choose the voice you will listen to throughout the day. Before old habits begin speaking, consciously decide what you want your inner conversations to sound like. Instead of thinking, I hope today is better, gently affirm, today is filled with beautiful opportunities. Instead of saying, nothing ever changes, remind yourself, every day my life is moving in a wonderful direction. Instead of fearing what might go wrong, quietly expect what can go right. These simple changes may seem small, but repeated consistently, they begin reshaping your entire outlook on life. The important thing is not merely repeating positive words, but allowing them to become believable and emotionally real. If your affirmations feel empty, slow down and connect with the feeling behind them. When you quietly say, "Everything I want is coming to me," pause and imagine the relief, joy, and gratitude you would naturally experience if that statement were already true. Allow your emotions to agree with your words. It is this union of thought and feeling that gradually transforms your consciousness. One reason inner conversations are so powerful is that they influence the way you interpret every experience. Two people can face the same situation and respond in completely different ways because of the conversations taking place within them. One person sees an obstacle and concludes that failure is inevitable. Another sees the same obstacle and believes it is simply an opportunity to grow stronger. The difference is not the situation itself, it is the inner meaning each person assigns to it. Your inner dialogue becomes the lens through which you experience life. This is especially important when challenges arise. Difficult moments often tempt you to return to old conversations filled with fear and discouragement. You may hear thoughts such as, "Maybe nothing is changing," or "Perhaps my dreams are impossible." Instead of accepting these thoughts as truth, gently replace them with conversations that reflect the reality you have chosen to live from. Tell yourself, "Every challenge is preparing me for something greater." Say, "Even now, wonderful things are unfolding beyond what I can presently see." Speak to yourself with the same kindness and encouragement you would offer to someone you deeply love. As you continue practicing this, your inner world begins becoming a place of peace rather than conflict. You stop arguing with yourself. You stop replaying painful memories and fearful predictions. Instead, your mind becomes filled with conversations that strengthen your confidence and inspire your actions. You begin noticing that your emotional state remains more stable because your thoughts are no longer constantly working against you. This inner harmony creates space for greater creativity, wiser decisions, and deeper joy. Your conversations with yourself also influence the way you interact with others. When your heart is filled with confidence and gratitude, you naturally become more patient, more understanding, and more generous. People often respond differently because the energy you bring into every interaction has changed. Opportunities begin appearing because your expectations have shifted. You notice possibilities that once escaped your attention because your mind is no longer consumed by fear. In this way, your outer world gradually begins reflecting the new conversations taking place within. It is important to remember that changing your inner dialogue is not a one-time event. It is a daily practice. Just as a garden requires regular care to remain healthy, your mind benefits from consistent attention. Every day, remove thoughts that no longer serve you and plant thoughts that support the life you wish to experience. Do not become discouraged if old habits occasionally return. Simply notice them without judgment and gently guide your attention back to the conversations you have chosen. Every return strengthens your new pattern of thinking. Morning affirmations become especially valuable because they help establish these new conversations before the distractions of the day begin. They remind you of who you are becoming rather than who you have been. They shift your focus from limitation to possibility and from fear to expectation. With each repetition, your subconscious mind becomes more familiar with this higher way of thinking until it eventually accepts it as natural. Remember, your life often follows the direction of your dominant inner conversations. If your mind constantly speaks of lack, you remain aware of lack. If your mind continually speaks of possibility, your awareness expands toward possibility. Choose words that reflect the future you desire rather than the past you wish to leave behind. Speak to yourself with confidence, gratitude, and quiet certainty. Let every morning become a new opportunity to establish conversations that support your highest vision. As these empowering conversations become your daily habit, something remarkable begins to happen. You no longer need to force yourself to believe, because belief has become natural. Peace becomes familiar. Gratitude becomes effortless. Confidence becomes your default response. And one day, as you look around at the beautiful changes unfolding in your life, you will realize that everything first began with the conversations you chose to have within yourself. Your outer reality simply became the faithful reflection of the inner words you consistently accepted as true. Feel the reality before you see the evidence. One of the greatest secrets to inner transformation is learning to feel the reality of your desire before your physical senses can confirm it. Most people believe that feelings are simply reactions to events. They think they will feel joyful after success arrives, peaceful after problems disappear, grateful after abundance becomes visible, and confident after receiving proof that everything is working out. But there is another way to live. Instead of allowing the outer world to dictate your emotions, you can choose the emotional state you wish to experience first. In doing so, you begin living from the reality you desire rather than continually reacting to the reality you are trying to leave behind. Think about how often people postpone happiness until a future moment. They say, "When I get the promotion, then I'll feel successful. When I meet the right person, then I'll feel loved. When my finances improve, then I'll finally relax." Without realizing it, they make their peace dependent upon circumstances they cannot fully control. This creates a cycle of endless waiting, because every new achievement quickly gives birth to another condition for happiness. The heart never truly rests, because fulfillment is always placed somewhere in the future. Yet genuine transformation begins the moment you decide to experience the feeling now. Imagine an actor preparing for an important role. They do not simply memorize words, they step into the emotions of the character they are portraying. They think like that person, respond like that person, and allow those feelings to become so real that the performance feels completely natural. In a much deeper sense, you are invited to step into the emotional life of the person you desire to become. If your dream has already come true, how would you feel? Would you feel calm instead of anxious, confident instead of doubtful, grateful instead of frustrated? Allow yourself to experience those emotions today rather than postponing them until tomorrow. Your feelings are far more than temporary emotional experiences. They influence the way you think, the choices you make, and the opportunities you recognize. A peaceful mind notices possibilities that fear often overlooks. A grateful heart sees blessings where others only see limitations. A confident spirit moves toward opportunities that insecurity would avoid. In this way, your emotional state quietly shapes your daily experience. When you consistently feel as though your desired life is already unfolding, your actions naturally begin aligning with that belief. This does not mean pretending that difficulties do not exist. Life will still present challenges, unanswered questions, and unexpected changes. Feeling the reality of your desire means refusing to allow those temporary conditions to determine your permanent state of being. You acknowledge the challenge, surrendering your inner peace. You recognize the obstacle without abandoning your confidence. You understand that appearances are temporary, while the consciousness you choose to occupy has the power to influence the direction of your future. One beautiful way to strengthen this practice is through imagination. Set aside a few quiet moments each morning and picture a simple scene that would naturally occur if your desire had already become reality. Do not focus on the process of getting there. Instead, experience the end result. Imagine yourself smiling with genuine relief. Picture yourself sharing wonderful news with someone you love. Feel the gratitude of waking up, knowing that everything has worked out beautifully. Allow the scene to become emotionally real. Even if it lasts only a minute or two, the feeling it creates begins reshaping your inner world. Many people become discouraged because they expect instant visible results after a few moments of positive feeling. But just as a seed requires time to grow after it is planted, the new emotional atmosphere you are cultivating also develops through consistency. Every day you return to the feeling of fulfillment, you strengthen the roots of your new consciousness. Though the outer world may appear unchanged for a season, something meaningful is quietly taking place within you. Patience allows this invisible transformation to mature until it naturally expresses itself outwardly. Notice how different your day becomes when you begin with the feeling that everything is already working in your favor. Instead of approaching conversations with nervousness, you become more relaxed. Instead of expecting rejection, you become open to meaningful connections. Instead of worrying about every detail, you trust that the right opportunities will appear at the right time. These subtle changes influence countless decisions throughout your day, creating a chain of experiences that reflect your new emotional state. There will be moments when old feelings attempt to return. Fear may whisper that you are imagining something impossible. Doubt may encourage you to judge your progress by appearances. During those moments, gently return to the feeling you have chosen. You do not need to fight every fearful thought. Simply redirect your attention. Breathe deeply. Remember the peace, gratitude, and confidence you experienced during your morning practice. Every time you return to that higher feeling, you weaken the influence of old emotional habits and strengthen the new reality taking shape within you. It is also important to understand that feeling fulfilled does not make you passive. On the contrary, it inspires wise action. When you feel confident, you naturally notice opportunities that align with your goals. When you feel abundant, generosity becomes easier. When you feel loved, you treat others with greater kindness. Your actions become natural expressions of your inner state rather than desperate attempts to create it. This harmony between feeling and action allows life to unfold with greater ease and less struggle. As this practice becomes part of your daily routine, you will notice a remarkable shift. You no longer spend every moment asking when your desires will appear because you already carry the emotional atmosphere of fulfillment within you. Joy becomes less dependent upon circumstances. Gratitude becomes your natural response. Peace remains with you even during uncertain seasons. These are not merely pleasant emotions. They are signs that your consciousness has begun changing in profound ways. One day, the outer world will begin reflecting the feelings you have faithfully cultivated. Opportunities will appear that once seemed impossible. Relationships will improve in unexpected ways. New ideas will come with surprising clarity. Doors will open that fear once convinced you were permanently closed. Others may call these fortunate coincidences, but you will recognize them as the natural expression of the inner reality you chose, long before visible evidence arrived. So do not wait for tomorrow to give yourself permission to feel successful, abundant, peaceful, or deeply loved. Choose those feelings today. Let them become the atmosphere in which your life grows. Protect them from doubt. Nourish them with gratitude. Strengthen them through daily practice. For when you consistently feel the reality before you see the evidence, you prepare both your heart and your life to welcome the beautiful experiences that are already making their way toward you. Release resistance and allow life to work in your favor. One of the greatest reasons people delay their own happiness is not because their dreams are impossible, but because they unknowingly resist the very things they desire. Resistance is not always obvious. It often appears in the form of constant worry, endless overthinking, fear of the future, impatience, or the feeling that you must force everything to happen through struggle alone. The more tightly you try to control every detail, the more anxious your heart becomes. Instead of living with peace, you begin living with pressure. Instead of trusting the unfolding of life, you carry the exhausting belief that everything depends entirely on your ability to make it happen. Yet true transformation begins when you release that inner resistance and allow yourself to move through life with confidence, peace, and quiet expectation. Imagine trying to hold water in your hands by squeezing it as tightly as possible. The harder you grip, the faster the water slips away. But when you gently cup your hands, the water naturally remains. Life often follows the same principle. Desperation creates tension, while trust creates openness. When you become desperate for a specific outcome, your attention becomes fixed on the fear of not having it. Every thought revolves around what is missing, and every day becomes another attempt to escape a feeling of lack. But when you release the need to control every step, you create space for unexpected opportunities to enter your life. Many people believe that letting go means giving up. In reality, the opposite is true. Giving up is abandoning your vision. Letting go is abandoning fear while remaining faithful to your vision. It is releasing the need to know exactly how, when, or through whom your desire will arrive. It is choosing peace over panic, trust over worry, and expectation over frustration. You still hold your dream close to your heart, but you no longer carry it with tension. Instead, you carry it with confidence, knowing that life is capable of unfolding in ways greater than your current understanding. Think about a traveler who has already purchased a ticket for an important journey. Once they know their seat has been reserved, they do not spend every minute questioning whether the destination still exists. They prepare calmly because they trust the journey ahead. They do not repeatedly run to the ticket counter, asking for reassurance every few moments. Their confidence allows them to enjoy the present while anticipating the future. In much the same way, when you truly believe that your desires are already moving toward you, you stop living in constant anxiety. You prepare your heart instead of exhausting your mind. One of the clearest signs of resistance is the habit of checking constantly for results. Some people spend every day searching for proof that something is changing. If they do not immediately see visible progress, discouragement quickly takes over. They begin questioning everything they previously believed. Yet this constant searching often reveals an underlying fear that nothing is happening. Instead of looking outward every hour, return your attention inward. Ask yourself whether you are becoming more peaceful, more patient, more grateful, and more confident. These are the true signs that transformation has already begun. Morning affirmations become especially powerful when they help dissolve resistance rather than strengthen effort. Instead of repeating affirmations with the emotional pressure of trying to make something happen, speak them from a place of quiet certainty. Let every affirmation remind you that life is already working behind the scenes. Feel the relief of knowing that you do not have to force every opportunity into existence. You simply align yourself with the reality you have chosen and allow your daily actions to flow naturally from that inner confidence. Releasing resistance also changes the way you respond to delays. Instead of seeing them as evidence that nothing is happening, you begin viewing them as opportunities to strengthen trust. Every delay becomes an invitation to remain faithful to your chosen state instead of returning to fear. You no longer interpret temporary silence as permanent failure. You understand that some of life's greatest blessings require preparation before they can fully appear. Just as fruit ripens in its proper season, many beautiful experiences unfold according to a timing that cannot be rushed. Another beautiful result of releasing resistance is that your relationships begin changing. When you stop trying to control other people, you become more loving, patient, and understanding. You no longer seek constant approval because your sense of worth comes from within. Conversations become more peaceful because you are not secretly trying to force outcomes. Others often respond differently because the pressure you once carried has been replaced by genuine presence and kindness. Your peaceful attitude creates an atmosphere in which healthier relationships can naturally develop. There is also tremendous freedom in accepting that you do not need every answer today. The mind often demands certainty before it feels safe, but the heart learns to rest even without knowing every detail. You may not know exactly how your next opportunity will arrive, but you can trust that every experience is contributing to your growth. You may not see the complete path ahead, but you can confidently take the next step. This quiet trust allows life to reveal itself one moment at a time instead of overwhelming you with unnecessary worry. As resistance fades, you begin noticing subtle yet remarkable changes. Creative ideas come more easily because your mind is no longer crowded with anxiety. Opportunities appear because you are emotionally available to recognize them. Your health often improves because chronic stress no longer dominates your daily experience. Joy returns because your attention is no longer consumed by what seems absent. You discover that peace is not something you receive after life changes. It is something you choose before life changes, and that choice quietly influences everything that follows. Remember that life responds more beautifully to relaxed confidence than to fearful striving. The person who lives with inner peace notices possibilities that constant worry overlooks. The person who trusts the unfolding of life often receives inspiration at exactly the right moment. The person who releases the need to control every outcome becomes available for unexpected blessings that could never have been planned. So begin each morning by letting go of the weight you were never meant to carry. Release the fear that everything depends upon your struggle. Release the habit of measuring your future by today's appearances. Release the need to force every answer before its proper time. Instead, choose trust, choose gratitude, choose calm expectation. Let your heart become light again. Walk through your day knowing that life is quietly working in your favor, even when you cannot yet see every detail. Carry your vision with confidence instead of tension. Protect your peace more than your worries. And remember, the moment you stop resisting the natural flow of life is often the moment life begins revealing opportunities, answers, and blessings that were already making their way toward you all along. Repeat until your new identity becomes natural. Every lasting transformation begins with a single thought. but it is sustained through repetition. One inspiring affirmation may lift your spirit for a few moments, but it is the daily practice of returning to that same truth that gradually reshapes your consciousness. Many people become excited after hearing powerful words once, yet they become discouraged when their lives do not immediately change. They forget that every habit they currently possess was formed through repetition. Fear was repeated, doubt was repeated, limiting beliefs were repeated. If repetition created those old patterns, then repetition can also create new ones. This is why your morning affirmations are far more than encouraging statements. They are daily opportunities to establish a completely new identity. Think about how a river slowly carves its path through solid rock. It does not accomplish this through one dramatic movement, but through the quiet, continuous flow of water over time. The rock eventually yields, not because the water is stronger in a single moment, but because it is faithful every day. Your mind follows a similar principle. Thoughts repeated consistently begin creating familiar pathways within your awareness. What once felt unnatural gradually becomes comfortable. What once seemed impossible begins feeling expected. This is the quiet power of faithful repetition. Many people believe they must force themselves to believe every affirmation immediately. They become frustrated when old thoughts continue appearing. Yet transformation is not about pretending that old habits never existed. It is about patiently introducing a new way of thinking until it becomes more familiar than the old one. Every morning you choose to affirm peace instead of fear, abundance instead of lack, confidence instead of doubt, and gratitude instead of complaint. You are strengthening a new pattern within your consciousness. At first, it may require intentional effort, but eventually it becomes your natural response. Imagine learning a new language. During the first few weeks, every word requires concentration. You pause, search your memory, and carefully form each sentence. It may feel slow and unfamiliar, but with daily practice, something remarkable happens. The language gradually becomes effortless. Words begin flowing naturally because repetition has transformed knowledge into instinct. In much the same way, your affirmations gradually become the language of your inner world. Peace becomes your first response instead of anxiety. Confidence replaces hesitation. Gratitude begins arising without effort because your consciousness has become fluent in a new way of living. One of the greatest mistakes people make is allowing temporary emotions to interrupt consistent practice. Some mornings you may wake up feeling inspired, while other mornings old worries may attempt to reclaim your attention. Do not judge your progress by your emotions alone. Continue your affirmations even on difficult days. In fact, those are often the moments when your new identity is growing the most. Every time you choose empowering thoughts while fear invites you back into old patterns, you strengthen your inner foundation. The new identity is formed not only during easy moments, but especially during challenging ones. Repetition also changes the way you see yourself. At first, affirmations may feel like hopeful possibilities. You repeat, I am peaceful, I am abundant. Everything I desire is coming to me. Over time, these words stop feeling like distant hopes and begin feeling like simple facts. You no longer repeat them to convince yourself. You repeat them because they describe the person you have become. This quiet shift marks one of the most important moments in your journey. Your identity has begun changing from within. As your identity changes, your daily choices naturally begin changing as well. You no longer act from desperation because you believe there is enough. You no longer hesitate before opportunities because confidence has become familiar. You become more patient because your faith is no longer dependent upon immediate results. You become kinder because your heart is no longer dominated by fear. These changes happen naturally because your behavior always follows your deepest identity. You do not force yourself to become different. You simply express who you now believe yourself to be. Morning affirmations become especially powerful because they establish this identity before the distractions of the day begin. Rather than allowing yesterday's disappointments to define today's expectations, you intentionally choose who you will be. Every morning becomes a fresh declaration that you are no longer living from old limitations. You are living from peace. You are living from abundance. You are living from gratitude. You are living from confidence. Day after day, these repeated choices quietly transform the atmosphere of your entire life. There may still be moments when circumstances appear to contradict your affirmations. You may experience unexpected delays or temporary setbacks. During those times, remember that repetition is most valuable when appearances challenge your belief. Continue returning to your chosen identity. Speak to yourself with kindness instead of criticism. Remind yourself that visible circumstances often reflect yesterday's thinking, while today's affirmations are preparing tomorrow's experiences. Trust that every faithful repetition is strengthening the unseen foundation beneath your future. Another beautiful result of consistent affirmations is emotional stability. Instead of reacting intensely to every changing circumstance, you develop a quiet confidence that remains steady. Success no longer makes you arrogant, and temporary setbacks no longer convince you to give up. Your peace becomes rooted within rather than dependent upon external events. This stability allows you to enjoy life more deeply because your happiness is no longer controlled by conditions outside your control. Eventually, there comes a moment when you realize something extraordinary has happened. The life you once imagined no longer feels distant. The thoughts you once practiced now arise naturally. The peace you once struggled to maintain has become your normal state. Opportunities begin appearing more frequently because your awareness has expanded. Relationships improve because your inner world has changed. New ideas come with clarity because fear no longer occupies so much of your attention. Others may wonder what changed, but you know the answer. Your transformation did not happen overnight. It happened one affirmation, one morning, one faithful choice at a time. So never underestimate the value of daily repetition. Continue speaking words that reflect the person you choose to become. Continue feeling gratitude before evidence appears. Continue expecting good even when life seems quiet. Continue protecting your mind from fear and filling it with hope. Every affirmation is another seed planted within your consciousness. Every repetition strengthens your new identity. Every faithful morning moves you closer to the life that already exists within your heart. Remember, the goal is not merely to repeat affirmations until circumstances change. The true goal is to repeat them until asterisk you change, until peace feels natural, abundance feels normal, confidence feels effortless, and gratitude becomes your constant companion. When that transformation takes place, the outer world will gradually mirror the beautiful identity you have patiently and faithfully cultivated within. And that is when you will discover that everything you truly desire has been moving toward you all along, waiting for you to become the person who was ready to receive it. As these affirmations come to an end, remember that their true power does not lie in the words alone. Their power lives in the feeling you carry with you after you finish listening. Today, choose to walk through life with quiet confidence. Let your thoughts reflect abundance instead of scarcity. Let your heart remain peaceful, even when circumstances seem uncertain. Refuse to allow temporary appearances to define your expectations. Every affirmation you have spoken today is planting a seed within your consciousness. Some seeds grow quickly, while others take time to mature, but every seed faithfully nurtured eventually bears fruit. Continue watering these seeds with gratitude, faith, patience, and joyful expectation. Do not measure your progress by what you can immediately see. Measure it by the peace you now carry. Measure it by the hope that fills your heart. Measure it by the confidence that replaces fear, and by the calm certainty that everything is unfolding at exactly the right time. Walk into this day knowing that you are supported, guided, surrounded by endless possibilities. Every conversation can become an opportunity. Every challenge can become a lesson. Every new day can become the beginning of a beautiful transformation. Keep believing, keep expecting, keep choosing the version of yourself who already lives in abundance, joy, love, health, success, and peace. And never forget this simple truth. Everything you truly desire is not moving away from you. It is moving toward you. Carry that feeling with you today and allow your life to become a reflection of the beautiful reality you have accepted within. Thank you, message. Thank you for spending this peaceful morning with us. If these affirmations brought you hope, calm, or renewed confidence, let them become part of your daily routine. The more consistently you begin your mornings with empowering thoughts and uplifting feelings, the more naturally they become the foundation of your everyday life. If you enjoyed this session, please support the channel by liking this video, subscribing, and turning on notifications so you never miss future affirmations and inspirational messages designed to help you start each day with purpose and positivity. If you know someone who could use a little more hope, encouragement, or peace this morning, share this video with them. One positive message can brighten a day, inspire a new perspective, and remind someone that better things are possible. Thank you for being part of this growing community. Your presence here is deeply appreciated, and we are grateful to walk this journey of inner growth together. Until we meet again, may your mind remain peaceful, your heart remain grateful, your spirit remain confident, and your life continue unfolding in beautiful and unexpected ways. Have a wonderful day, and remember, everything you truly desire is already making its way to you.